Hello? What did you say, Andy? The building's on fire? What? Wait, what? We have homework due tomorrow. Huh, I must have mistaked homework for fire. Huh, what's our homework? Oh, we have to read Genesis 1 for OT for Dr. Miller. Okay, I'll get on it. Thanks, bye. Let's see, what does Genesis say? And God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it." Huh. I know what fruitful means. That's like apples, oranges, whatever. But what does multiply mean? Multiply. Multiplication. That's a better word. I'm sure the library has some resources I can use to find more information about it. Let's look up the definition of multiplication in the Math Dictionary. Multiplication, the action or process of increasing the quantity or amount of something. And in mathematics, the definition of multiplication is the action, process, or act of multiplying quantities, the process of finding the quantity produced by repeatedly adding one quantity, the multiplicand, as many times as there are units in a second quantity, the multiplier. Let's take a look at the history of multiplication. It was first used in 1350 to 1400. The English word is a combination of Latin and Old French words. In French, pronounced multiplication, it means to increase. In Latin, pronounced multiplication, I don't know how to pronounce that, it means to get bigger. Looking at multiplication in the different languages, we can see that it's pronounced in a variety of different ways. In Spanish, it's pronounced multiplicación. In Italian, it's pronounced multiplicazione. In French, it's pronounced multiplication. And in Latin, it's pronounced multiplicatio. As we said earlier, multiplication is a combination of these two words. So when you combine the French and the Latin words together, you get multiplication. Let's take multiplication and break it down by looking at the affixes. So the prefix multi means many, and the suffix ation means action. The prefix and the suffix are combined together by the root word plic, which means folding. So altogether, multiplication means folding something many times. In multiplication, you take a number and fold it many times to get a much bigger number. So let's take this concept of folding and apply it our multiplication terms multiplicand and multiplier to multiplication to understand it better. So let's take the multiplicand 2. So if we took multiplicand 2 and multiply it times the multiplier 1, we would just fold it once, giving us 2. But if we took the multiplicand 2 and multiply it times 2, then we would have to fold it 2 times. So we would fold it once, and then twice, and that would give us 4. 2 times 2 equals 4. So let's do 2 times 3. So if we do the multiplicand 2 times the multiplier 3, then we would have to fold it 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 times 3 equals 6. Let's take the prefix multi from multiplication and apply it to a variety of different words so that we can expand our vocabulary. Multi, as you remember, means many or several. So, for example, multitude. A multitude of people go to chapel every single day to worship the Lord. And now, in chapel, let's look at the word multicultural, where Dr. White encourages each and every one of us to go on a multicultural mission trip before we graduate. Now let's take the suffix ation and see how it applies to other words. Ation, as you remember, means action. So, duplication. The act of doubling. We have just now doubled our time.
Okay.
Hi, excuse me, could you tell me an example of a synonym of multiplication?
Multiplication. Proliferation is a synonym of multiplication.
What does that mean?
Proliferation, it's like when you take something you divide it into two parts, so now there's two things. So like an atom, or in chemistry, if you take a molecule or a cell and it cuts in half, now you have two cells, and then those cut in half, and now you have four cells, and those cut in half, and now you have 8 cells. So it just keeps multiplying or proliferating.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That was correct. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. Could you give me an example of an antonym of multiplication?
Like division.
What? Like, can you explain division?
Yeah. So you make something smaller by spreading it out.
That was a perfect explanation. Thank you so much.
Hello. Could you give me an example of a synonym of multiplication?
Increasing.
And what does that mean?
That means that the number is getting bigger.
Thank you so much.
Hi guys. Could you give us an example of an antonym of multiplication?
Diminishing?
Shrinking?
Yeah. Some other related words to multiplication are times and product. Times means to befall, happen, or occur. So when you're thinking of a multiplication problem, by taking the multiplier and the multiplicand, timesing them together, they're being multiplied together, occurring, befalling, times. And when you're thinking of product, that's the end product of when they're multiplied together. You get the overall product. Wow, that was such a great chapter in Genesis. I never thought I would ever be able to get that much out of the word multiplication. Hello? What's that you say, Andy? Fire? Fire!